Thanks, listeners, for joining us. Elko Live today, featuring our guest. As we do once a month, we're catching up on news from the Terrace at Ruby View. Our Senior and Active Lifestyle Center, Matt McCarty, is in studio, and he's our Executive Director. Welcome, Matt. It's always fantastic to see you.
And it's always an honor to be here. Thank you so much, Lori. We appreciate the opportunity to connect once a month and to talk a little bit about what our seniors are doing and what the center is doing. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, Matt. And it was our pleasure. And today, a team of us from Elko Broadcasting Company got to go to your center and meet so many of the wonderful seniors who visit there regularly because they were recording their senior to senior messages.
Yes, ma'am. And they love it. It's funny. We've been asking them for almost a month now, letting them know that your team was going to be coming up and asking them to prepare messages and to think about what it is that they would like to pass on to another generation. And it's always kind of I don't know, and I'll think about it. And this week, Monday and yesterday, don't forget, this is coming up. And then today, it's here. Well, I don't know. And then it's quick. It's funny how quickly they then say, okay, yes, I can do this. So you and your team do a great job of encouraging them and putting them at ease. And then it's great to hear them come in with their messages as well.
Well, thanks, Matt. They're certainly inspiring. And you don't have to be a graduate of the class of 2023 to appreciate all the experience, the wisdom, the love, and the heart and the passion that went into those messages. I have to tell you, it was great just to sit across from them today. So thank you for opening the facility for us.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Absolutely. We're glad to have the opportunity for our seniors to be able to spread their message any way they can.
And I guess this is Happy Older Americans Month?
It is Older Americans Month, yes. And it's funny, in the newsletter, I have a whole bunch of dates and special occasions and celebrations that we do. And so some of them, it's a more legitimate happy, like this one, Older Americans Month or Senior Americans Month. But like May 3rd was National Two Different Colored Shoes Day. So it's silly, some of these days that they come up with, but it gives a little bit of humor, I hope, to our seniors and those that happen to forget which shoe they have on and wear two different shoes. Well, now they have an excuse.
Hey, it has happened. It has happened, and I'm sure it will continue to happen in my family. So whether you're in preschool or whether you're like us, Matt, and you're just dashing out the door.
Exactly. And it's funny, especially early morning days where I have to be in a little bit earlier. I dress in our closet and I try to keep the light out so that I'm not disturbing my wife, Laura. And there have been times where I've come in with brown shoes and black socks or vice versa. I think I've been able to avoid having two different shoes, but I could easily have two different shoes on if I'm not paying close enough attention.
Oh my gosh, I have a pair of mismatched flip-flops that people have seen me in public, and I said, I have a pair just like this at home.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go, Matt. Thanks. It's always fun, like I said, just to kind of, and this is the kind of rapport that you can enjoy, kind of a laid-back, chill style, Matt. That's the other thing about being up there today for lunch, getting to see the seniors and enjoy how much they appreciate seeing one another. Do you get the feeling of that too?
They do. It is absolutely their greeting place, their gathering place. They come in, they know where their friends are sitting, and those that haven't maybe been there for a while, especially the snowbirds, this is the time where we have folks starting to come back, and there's hugs and there's smiles and there's laughs and there's tears sometimes because they've missed them. So it's wonderful to see that as well.
Well, it's great to have ownership and stewardship, and thank you for creating the environment and leading the team and the staff. I got to meet Janice today. She was one who recorded a senior-to-senior message, and you just have a fantastic team.
I do. I have an amazing team. They do a terrific job. Here lately, I've been away a few times. I had some scouting events that I was going to. I'm able to go into some schools, some of our local schools, and give some presentations. And so I've not been present physically as often, and that wouldn't be able to be possible if it weren't for the staff that we have. Amazing volunteers that come in and man the desk up front with Jim and Ann and help us with delivering our meals. Sharon and Diana and Ruby and Liz, and We have a ton of volunteers. They even go back, like today. Today we served more than 150 meals just at the center. The room was packed. We had to open up our overflow, but we had 2 of our seniors even in the back in the kitchen, one serving, one helping to do with our dishwasher. So it's amazing the volunteers that we have, an amazingly supportive board as well. They allow us to do what we need to do to fulfill the mission, and they've given us the tools to be able to do that, and then they've gotten out of the way, which is awesome. And who can argue with our mission? I mean, that's what I say all the time. Who can argue with the mission of taking care of our seniors?
Of course, we're talking to Matt McCarty from the Terrace at Ruby View, our senior and active lifestyle center. They're located at 1795 Ruby View Drive, 775-738-3030. Go online. You can find the newsletter and all this great information at elkoseniors.org. And as you mentioned, the mission statement to provide nutritious meals, socialization, health screening, and education. A place as a catalyst for access, opportunity, health, and independence for older adults, Matt. So thank you. And as we get together once a month, I'm glad you mentioned your board. I did get to attend the board meeting. Also, I have to thank Madam Chair for running an excellent meeting. She did such a great job.
Yeah, Jennifer did do a great job. This board meeting that Lori's referring to, of course, that you're referring to, is one that was a little bit sensitive. We don't typically get these type of meetings, but we are looking at expanding, and due to an unknown location for where a water line is running on the property, the reality is that we might need to rearrange our community garden. And so with the community garden, we needed to potentially relocate that. And so we had folks coming in to talk about that. And obviously, as stakeholders within the community garden, that was something that was of concern as well. So we wanted to make sure that we gave that opportunity, even though it was very short notice. And yes, I think that Jennifer Robertson did a great job of running that, and our board did a good job, and everyone was civil, and we were trying to find a solution and had good discussions. And I'm happy to report that there is progress being made on a relocation for the community gardens. Unfortunately, they wouldn't be staying at the senior center any longer, but they would be able to hopefully to be able to go into a new place, and we'd be able to salvage the growing season for this year.
It all really seemed to turn out well. And Matt, I think the most important takeaway from the meeting, at least for me, and as you said, Jennifer Roberson did an excellent job in chairing that meeting, is that people came away feeling heard, feeling respected, feeling appreciated and valued, and that each of the missions was recognized. I mean, it's one of the best meetings, honestly. So when you talked about it, being perhaps controversial, boy, if we could only have controversies resolved that way every day in Elko, it would be. So again, thank you for your leadership. Thanks to the board of directors, because Community Garden will get a nice new location, and you'll get the expansion you need.
That's what we're hoping for. Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
So thank you, Matt. Matt McCarty is Executive Director, the Terrace at Ruby View, and obviously we'll be keeping you posted on the latest news about that relocation, building the garage there, because as I said, I was there today, there was not a parking spot to be had.
Right. And that was one of the other concerns of putting the garage where we were originally looking at, is that it would have taken additional parking away. And we would rather our seniors not park on the street, because that is a danger. It also, obstructs traffic to a degree. So we want to make sure that we're being as safe as possible. And while this was not the best location, it was a location that seemed to work well. We thought we had a plan, but I'm really happy that through the discussion, it did generate other leads and other interest in the community gardens. And so hopefully we'll be able to see that organization grow, pun intended, and flourish as well.
Thanks, Matt. All good things, come to those who are patient but are yet involved, and a lot of great advocacy there for both the center and the community garden. So
absolutely.
Excellent. So obviously things that I want to make sure we're getting to that you are hoping to today. This newsletter is just jam-packed with items. You have a lot of ongoing events, but maybe some special activities coming up?
We do. We definitely want to make sure that everyone knows about bingo this evening. We have bingo in Spring Creek tonight, and so that will be at the Spring Creek Association boardroom right next to the club restaurant. And so that will open the doors at 5:30. Game will start at 6. And we don't take nearly as long of a intermission as we do when we are in town, but we do allow folks to go and order some food, and then they can eat some food from the club. They've got great food, and bring it back in and go from there. So it's only a $10 buy-in per game packet payout. So we do appreciate that as well with the Nevada Gaming Control Board and the permission that they've given us. It's a 50-50 split of the pot. The senior center gets a little bit of income, and we're able to pay out some cold hard cash for those that like to play bingo.
And then the event moves to Elko on the 25th?
It does. And then in Elko at 5 o'clock, the doors open with the game starting at 5:30. In Elko, because it's at the senior center and because we have our kitchen, we sell hot dogs and nachos and some sweet treats. Usually we have some popcorn, which usually goes fast. Popcorn's usually gone before we've started the game. A couple of months ago, we paid out, I think, close to $750 in cash. It was really cool to see that many people coming in. And even last month was a popular day as well.
So that's on Thursday, May 25th for bingo at the Terrace at Ruby View. Again, the doors will open at 5 for the gameplay that starts at 5:30. That's great, and it's a very popular event, and people are serious about their bingo.
They are, yes, absolutely.
We know that some groups are also meeting at the Terrace at Ruby View.
We are. We do have some groups that meet. Now, let's start first with some of the civic clubs. If you are looking to get more engaged in the community, there are plenty of opportunities to join multiple different organizations. Certainly, we would love to see you at the Senior Center, though there are other options for you as well. And we are happy to host 4 of our civic clubs. We host the Kiwanis in the mornings on Monday afternoons, I guess. And so you're welcome to come for that. We also host the noon Rotary on Wednesdays at noon. Then we have the morning Rotary or the breakfast Rotary on Thursday mornings. And while it's not necessarily a civic organization, it's certainly a good organization for young professionals, particularly the Toastmasters, the Sunrise Toastmasters. And so they meet Friday mornings at about 6:30. So we're really happy to have those groups meet with us on a nearly weekly basis. We also have our retired public employees of Nevada that come in, our retired public school employees of Elko County that come in. They're usually meeting once a month or so. And then we have some support groups as well. We have a cancer support group that meets on the first Friday of the month, generally the first Friday of the month. Cindy does a great job with that group, and they typically meet about 11 o'clock. In June, they are going to meet on, I believe, June 3rd, as I pull out my calendar on the phone that we just seem to not be able to get away from. I apologize. June 2nd is when the cancer support group will be meeting next. And so we're really appreciative that Cindy chose us. I always mispronounce her name. I think it's Stazik.
Oh, Stazik?
Cindy Stazik. So she does a great job for us. So she'll be there June 2nd for the cancer support group. And then also on Fridays, every week on Fridays, we have the Java Music Club. Now, the Java Music Club originally was part of the Dementia Friendly and the Retired Senior Volunteer Program. There was some intermingling there and connection. And the intent was for those that have loved ones that are suffering through dementia or perhaps even Alzheimer's, full-blown Alzheimer's, this was a respite for them. But it was a respite not necessarily where someone came to the house, where these folks were able to drop off their loved one at the senior center, and then for 3 or 4 hours, take some time for themselves, get some errands done, do some other things outside of the house. And what it turned into were folks that were staying with their loved ones, hearing the music, hearing the stories that the music elicited out of these folks that maybe in some cases had been trapped in their mind for a while and didn't have that ability to get out. And then they'd hear a song that triggered something, and they'd be able to sing along, and perhaps they'd be able to share a story. And our caregivers were able to hear that. And so now we see that is what it's turned into. So those are a couple of our support groups. We also have a Bible study once a week on Tuesdays, another support and care group. Definitely a camaraderie group. In fact, they are almost outgrowing the room that we have them in. It's great to see that growth, and that there's a term that I was looking for that just escaped my mind, but it's great to see them grow as well as they are.
They're supporting one another, certainly. And we've seen that the senior center will also grow with the ideas and the suggestions and the participation of the members. So if there's something that you'd like to see, whether it's a craft or an activity or a support group like this, you just make those suggestions and it'll come to fruition, from what I understand.
Absolutely. And that's a great point, Lori. Thanks for bringing that up. We don't have an activities coordinator on our staff. We just don't have the budget for that currently. And so what we've done is folks that would like to start something, we say, great, come on in, gather a few people. Let's look at when your time is and what day you're looking at. Do we have the room? How do we make this work? And from that, we've gotten the Pinnacle group back. We've gotten a second day of the Penny Annie poker back. We've got a group now that helps to sew. In fact, they're working on a project for our Christmas bazaar in December. So we've gotten that group. I think if I haven't mentioned Dominoes, we've got the Dominoes group. And then just today, we had somebody ask about a chess club. And so we may be getting a chess club coming in as well. So it really is that grown from, grow your own type of approach to things. And we really are thankful for that.
We know that the Terrace at Ruby View gets support. There is some line item in the county budget. It's its own county department now. But I also saw in your newsletter, Matt, that you've had some significant donations recently. And it's always nice to mention the support you get.
Absolutely. We've not been able to do a lot with it yet, but the William N. Pennington Foundation gave a significant grant, as did Nevada Gold Mine. Both of those are for the garage that we mentioned earlier and the kitchen remodel, that once we get that planning process, which always seems to take much longer than I think it should, but it's obviously we want to make sure that it's done properly and done safely. Those are the two major projects that we've received. And we do receive support from throughout the community. We're very thankful for that help. We have received help from the Elks Club before, and the VFW is very supportive of us as well. And about a year ago or so, the local Home Depot had an Operation Surprise, I think they called it, in which they gave us some money as well. In fact, I was just at Home Depot the other day and passing by the restrooms, and there's a picture of our seniors when they delivered the gift. So it was wonderful to see that as well.
And that kind of support is ongoing. I saw where the Northeastern Nevada Regional Hospital recently donated an AED.
They did, yeah. They donated funds. We were able to purchase an AED. We're anticipating 2 more AEDs from another organization. These are going to be smaller units that we can take portably, so that when we have senior games or other events, when we start, if we have groups that want to travel outside of the center, we can have those going with them as well. But the Northeastern Nevada Regional Hospital did donate a significant amount for a wall-mounted AED. And it's funny, you'd think that the senior center would have had one. That's the first AED that we've had, or at least that we've had in a number of years. We may have had one previously, but it was no longer there. So to have that on site, certainly as a director, as staff, it puts our mind a little bit more at ease. We've been very blessed that we haven't had any serious issues at the senior center in the past few years. But if there is one, this gives us another tool to be able to hopefully intervene and help with somebody that's in need.
Yeah,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I just was going to remind people it's for a cardiac issue. It's a defibrillator is what we're talking about.
Yeah, the automatic external defibrillator. And this one here will walk through people or walk through what the issue is. And so even one of our seniors that's never used it before theoretically could be able to go over there and as long as they're following the instructions, be able to use it. So we're thankful for that partnership. We'll also be able to see the hospital on Friday. They come out and they give flowers to our mothers on Mother's Day. So we'll have a roast beef sandwich, which the moms love. We have French dip sandwiches on Friday. And so the hospital will be there and and give a flower or some other recognition to our mothers. So we really appreciate that partnership also.
Oh, thanks. I bet that was Steve Burrows and his group, their idea, and what a sweet gift.
It is, yeah. We love to see that. It's good to have those kind of partnerships, and we're just really thankful for that.
It'll be a nice weekend to spoil Mom, because I know that the Elko Chamber of Commerce home show is this weekend too.
That's right.
Mother's Day weekend, both Saturday and Sunday with free admission, and we'll see a lot of our senior activities friends there.
I certainly hope so, absolutely. Yeah. Speaking of activities, we also have movies once a week. And so usually on Thursdays and Fridays, we'll have a movie. This month, we are concentrating on movies that feature Marion Robert Morrison. Some may know him by Marion Michael Morrison, but more commonly, everybody probably just about knows him by John Wayne. And so Mr. Morrison was born towards the end of May, and so every week this month we have a John Wayne movie. So we hope that folks will come up and maybe get a little bit of popcorn for a matinee and see an old classic. This week we have El Dorado. We'll have the original True Grit next week, and then we'll close out the month with the follow-up to True Grit, Rooster Cogburn.
Nice. So, and you have like a big screen that you show that on, or?
We actually, the county, and you mentioned the county's involvement earlier in this program, the county actually painted one of our walls a specific color. It's called Movie Theater White. And so they've painted the wall, and then we have a projector that we project onto, and we set up our chairs, and folks can come in and watch that. So
nice.
It is nice. It's enjoyable. We are appreciative of that.
It's always more fun to see a movie with somebody else.
It
so
is.
There you go. If you are looking for, just some companionship and you can reminisce and watch a classic movie. That's
absolutely
really cool, Matt.
Yeah.
Of course, we're talking about the Terrace at Ruby View, and we just came from there, as we talked about, recording the senior to senior messages that will be aired on our stations during graduation week for all of the graduates, the class of 2023. But you are so well known for your lunches. The meals, we should remind, are served Monday through Friday on site between 11:30 a.m. until 12:45. Diners over the age of 60, it's just a suggested donation of $3, but people are not turned away, Matt. And for anybody under the age of 60, it's just $8. So you're invited to come and join and support and sit with your senior friends and have lunch too.
Absolutely, and we do encourage folks to do that. We know that there are a lot of dining options in Elko, and when you're ready, please feel free to come on up. We would love to host you at the center. Our menu is always available, so you can know exactly what it is that you're looking for. Next week on Wednesday, we're having meatloaf, which is always a popular item, and on Thursday, the 25th, we're having barbecue pork ribs. So it's not just simple little things. We've got a pretty good menu, if I may say so myself. As I mentioned, more than 150 people came up today for our chicken fried steak. So
it smelled so good. I was sorry we had to leave and come do this radio show, but it was fine.
Yeah, so we do hope that folks can come up, and we've gotten almost to the point where we can start putting our patio furniture back out. And while we were not necessarily anticipating the patio furnaces to go out, we had a grant a number of years ago with conjunction through the county, through the federal funds for COVID relief, and we purchased some patio furnaces to keep our drive-through volunteers warm, and the propane that came from that was generously donated by Western States Propane. So we appreciate that, another partnership that we've had. But we might be able to start putting those patio furniture out, and then have the furnaces as well, in case it maybe is just a little bit still too cold for some of our folks.
Yeah, summer's been a little reluctant. It's kind of on again, off again. It's pretty fickle this year. So
it is.
Yeah, but you'll always find it's nice and pleasant indoors at the Terrace at Ruby View. I want to make sure we're getting to all of your topics. As I said today, Matt, you're a wonderful representative of the goodness in this community. So thank you. Every time you come on the radio show, and I have people compliment me, because you just make us feel better about our community.
Well, I love our community, and I've told folks that having been raised here, I'll never be able to give enough back to the community. And it doesn't take a lot for each of us to just do a little bit. Those random acts of kindness can certainly go a long way. And an hour here with an organization of your choice or an hour there, it really does help. And as a community, when we pull together, we just thrive better. And I think that's what's really important with the senior center, is that when we get people together, we do see a change. We see them start to be healthier and they thrive more. And that's why we're there, is we want to make sure they're getting that nutritious meal, absolutely. But I think that social interaction sometimes is just as important. And in some cases, it's more important than that meal, because they need to have that interaction. We as humans are social creatures. We are not loners. And we need to be able to have that ability to reach out and to have those connections. So I certainly encourage everyone listening, find an organization, find someone that you want to spend some time with, and give them just an hour or two a month, and it'll pay dividends, I promise.
Oh, will certainly enrich your life. And as I was circling back, Matt, to just the terrific time that we had at the center, just for even a short time today, I met people that I hadn't seen, or I just hadn't seen them for a while in the community, and we got to chat. And here I met a man who lives even in my neighborhood, and he worked for the mines for over 35 years for the different mines. I met another woman who moved here because she opened our Marshall's store, so she was the general manager. I met another woman who is brand new to the community. Her daughter lives here, and she said, it was just time. And she moved from Genoa, which how many of us love to visit Genoa? And now she's here living. She built a brand new house in Spring Creek. Yep. And that's just a sampling of the people. I met a man who's retired from the Navy. Just the wonderful stories and the friendship and the joy that people find in their lives. And they were all coming together here at the Terrace at Ruby View. Yep.
And we're happy to be able to have a home for them. 3 more quick things that I want to throw out real quick. Another partnership that I wanted to acknowledge is the Family Dollar on Mountain City Highway. They have done a really terrific job of gathering things together for the seniors through the generosity of their own customers. And so then they bring us little goodies for our seniors that I wanted to just do a quick shout out, that we really appreciate that. Something that may be new or a different experience for folks, and every now and then we try to throw out little things for the seniors of maybe do this. I stumbled across this weekend. Perhaps when you're done at the home show, maybe head out to Spring Creek and the Horse Palace, because there's a stock dog shootout, and that is a sanctioned event with the National Cattle Dog Association. So you'll be able to see these four-legged athletes, how they help on our ranches. And we are still very much an agricultural area, and so you'll see how these working animals are able to really perform. So that might be something just to look at and think about. So there is that. Excuse me. And the third thing was certainly for some of our seniors, this may be applicable, but maybe for those that are a little bit younger as well. If you haven't gotten your big game tag, today's the last day. Contact the Nevada Department of Wildlife. Go online. Make sure that you've registered for your tag. We have a lot of outdoorsmen who certainly are our members as well. They love to go out and get into the outdoors, and they love to hunt. But today is the last day, so just a reminder, make sure you get in before, I think it's 11 p.m. tonight.
Oh, yeah. Go online. NDOW.org and then they'll send you to another website where you go. I think it's like NV Hunter, Nevada, something like that. Yep. But NV Licensing, something. Anyway, go to NDOW.org. There's so many websites in the world, and drill down into that and do get your big game tag, because today's the deadline. Thanks for reminding us of that, Matt.
Absolutely. And perhaps take one of your senior relatives or a senior neighbor or a senior friend out with you this year.
Yeah, if you're lucky enough, they'll show you their favorite hunting spot. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, I can stay on top of that. And I noticed, too, that you're helping promote this latest effort in the community to become a foster parent, to keep our kids in their own communities while we're helping their families to reunite and to heal.
Absolutely, and thank you for bringing that up as well. I did visit with Shelby, who is the rural representative for the foster for the Division of I think it's Division of Health and Human Services for the state of Nevada, and she will be here in next week. She'll be here on the 19th for coffee and for a coffee talk, basically. I believe it's 4 to 6, and it's going to be here in
Java?
Elko at Sierra Java. Thank you. I was looking for that.
She's fantastic. I've interviewed her several times.
Yeah. She does a great job. And one of the things that kind of caught my ear is 37% of kids that are in the system from Elko County have to be relocated outside of the county. So just think about that for a minute, how hard it is sometimes for us to find people, for employees, for folks that are familiar with and passionate about Elko. And when 1 in 3 of our foster kids is being relocated outside of the county, that certainly doesn't help us any. We shouldn't be exporting our youth. Those that certainly want to go abroad and study abroad and go other places, of course, but when it's a foster youth that doesn't really have an opportunity to make their own decisions, we want to keep them here. We want them to know about the loving area that we have. And so I certainly encourage folks. We have some seniors that are raising grandchildren or even potentially great-grandchildren, and some are certainly very familiar with the foster system. But this appeal goes definitely out a little bit more to our younger folks. Please consider being a foster care parent.
Well, thanks, Matt. Definitely, these children are in need. It's in times of emergency. They could be babies. They could be teenagers. You can just be very temporary, but they need a safe place to be. Respite care, emergency care, short or long term. You can go online before next week's Coffee Talk with Shelby to ruralnvfostercare.com to get more information.
Absolutely.
Do we cover most of our bases today, Matt?
I think we did. We greatly appreciate, again, the opportunity to visit with you. You always make it so easy and it goes so quick.
Oh, thanks, Matt. It is truly my pleasure. Thank you, listeners, for making this show positive and popular, and we're here for you. So thank you for all of your comments. We really appreciate that too. Elko Live is online, elkoradio.com. Well, we're revamping the website right now, but it is a work in progress, just like everything else that requires technology. So thank you, listeners, for joining us for Elko Live today.